Hi everyone, I'm Catherine with Visa Harmony. Today we will talk about the Affidavit of Support form. The Affidavit of Support form is very important for most of the immediate relative petitions as well as for the adjustment of status application. For K-1 petition, the petitioner needs to send a completed and signed I-134 form to the fiancé beneficiary for visa interview. For immediate relative petitions like spouse, child, parent petitions, as well as adjustment of status, the petitioner needs to complete the I-864 form. The Affidavit of Support form, together with the required documents, will prove that the petitioner has enough income to support the beneficiary here in USA and will not be requiring government benefits. If the petitioner does not meet the required income, the petitioner will need to provide a joint sponsor. A joint sponsor is anyone who is at least 18 years old, either a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, and has enough income. Even if the petitioner does not meet the minimum required income, the petitioner is still required to fill out the Affidavit of Support form. So what documents do you need to submit with the Affidavit of Support form? Number 1, the most recent income tax documents. For adjustment of status, Form 1040 and W-2 or other proofs of income are enough. For the immediate relative petition, the petitioner needs to upload the tax transcript as well on the NVC portal. For information on the mentioned tax documents, we created a separate video and I will link it in the info box. The most recent income tax document is the most important proof that shows that the petitioner meets the required income. The pay stubs, employment letter, previous year's income tax returns, those are just optional. Use of assets to supplement income. If the sponsor or petitioner meets the minimum required income with the income tax documents, you do not need to provide assets information. My rule is not to give the USCIS more than what is necessary. You do not want to give them your bank documents or house title and appraisal when you do not need to. But just in case the sponsor or petitioner's income barely made the minimum required income, and the sponsor or petitioner has assets to use to supplement the difference, there is a calculation to know how much assets you need to have. The calculation depends on who is the beneficiary. If the beneficiary is a spouse or child, you will need 3 times the difference. If the beneficiary is not a spouse or child, like if you're petitioning a parent or sibling, you will need 5 times the difference. Let's take for example if I am petitioning one of my parents. I am married and we have 1 minor child. Total household will be 4. Me, my husband, our minor child, and my beneficiary parent. Based on the poverty guidelines this year, 2021, the minimum required income for a household of 4 is $33,125. Let's say for this example that my husband does not have an income and my income was only $30,125. The difference from the required income and my actual income from my most recent income tax returns is $3,000. Since I am petitioning a parent, I will need to show assets that is at least 5 times the difference, which is $15,000. The assets that can be used are money in bank accounts. You can send the most recent bank statement or bank certificate. You can also use net cash value of real estate holdings, meaning if you own your house, you can use the equity you have on your house. You will need to send the most recent appraisal documents, and if you still have mortgage on it, you will have to deduct it. Your equity will be the most recent appraised value minus your mortgage debt. For example, if your house has a value of $100,000 and you still owe $40,000 on it, it means you have $60,000 in equity, and you can use that $60,000 equity as supplement income. Another asset you can use are investment certificates or documents. Once you have all the documents to prove that you have enough income to support the beneficiary here in USA, the last requirement for the Affidavit of Support is The sponsor's proof of U.S. citizenship or permanent residency. If the petitioner or sponsor is a U.S. citizen, submit at least one of the following: a copy of the U.S. birth certificate, valid U.S. passport, or certificate of naturalization, whichever applies. For legal permanent resident sponsor or petitioner, submit a copy of the valid green card, front and back. That's about it. You need to provide the specific documents that the USCIS needs so you will not receive RFE or worse, get denied. All these requirements are listed in the form instructions. As mentioned before, Affidavit of Support is very important, especially for adjustment of status and immigrant petitions. If you have any more questions on Affidavit of Support, please post them on the comment section. Or if you need assistance with any visa or immigration applications, I will list our contact information below. Thank you and see you next time.